been out there for 15 minutes every first inning. Nice 1-2-3 first would work. Fastball right in there. Strike one on Stephen Drew. And this ball is lifted to fairly deep right field, but Hop will have room on the edge of the track. And that is out number one. Let's take a look at the Rockies defensively. They have the outfield of Seth Smith in left, Carlos Gonzalez in center, and Brad Hopp in right. Stuart Tulowitzki on the left side of the diamond. Clint Barmas, Todd Helton on the right side, and Yorvi Torrealba is doing the catching. He had yesterday off. Chris ARI AT COL. So with one out, Ryan Roberts will step up. He's hit .320 over his last 36 ball games. So you may not know the name, but he's been very productive offensively. And the fastball on the inside corner. Mike Everett's calling balls and strikes as you take a closer look at Roberts. Crew chief Jerry Davis at first. Mike Mulchinski is at second. C.B. Buckner is at third. And that is a vicious curveball. That was a sea-level hook.
Yeah, that's not the one that you typically see here at this high altitude, but that one just straight over the top, the 12 to 60 you're talking about. But it all comes from being able to command that four-seam fastball.
I'd go back to that too after the way he snapped it off if I'm Yorvi Torrealba. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, especially the way Roberts acted on the one before, right out of the hand. You see Jason with that Hyundai cam, the rotation straight from top to bottom, how much that thing just dove. The perfect execution of that.
And that fastball just ate him up. Helton will run to the bag, 2 outs. Let's take a look at our Bird Automotive keys to the game. Jeff, what do you have tonight?
Well, strike first. You talked about it earlier in our open, how the Rockies just feel like you're playing behind the whole time. Out of the last 11 ball games, 10 of the times you've done that. 7+ innings. Both of these teams are in the top 5 in the major leagues in scoring runs from the 7th inning on. And then it's going to come down to the closers because of that. Who's going to be out there? Well, we know the Rockies are going to send Franklin Morales out there, but really, who's it going to be for the Diamondbacks? And more than likely, it's going to be Gutierrez. But that to me is a huge question mark.
Well, that fastball on by Justin Upton. Swung like he had a donut on the bat. Look at those numbers. 314, 23, and 72.
And they're even better since he's come back from that strained oblique that he had. Came back off the DL August 26th.
That fastball rides high. 1-1 on Upton.
We'll get back to that point about Upton in his first swing. He was sitting on the on-deck circle when he saw those pitches to Roberts. Saw the big breaking pitches. And that's what he was looking for.
Well, my question is, Huey, and you've gone up looking maybe off speed early in the count. Obviously, later on in the count, you have to protect the plate. But if you're sitting off speed, why swing at the heater then?
Well, that's a good question. And I typically didn't like to do that my first at bat. I still wanted to hunt that fastball when I saw it coming up there. But if you're going to sit on a breaking pitch, you've got to sit on it the whole time. You can't, because he's fortunate he didn't just hit it right back to the pitcher.
Well, he's gone. That was the impressive start the Rockies were looking for. It's been a rarity of late, a 1-2-3 first inning. An overpowering first inning for Jason Hammel. 0-3 for the Mets, ready to take on the Arizona Diamondbacks. They're 6-6 this year against Arizona. Jim Tracy peering over the fence that protects the dugout. Foul balls. Here's his batting order tonight. Carlos Gonzalez, just under 300, will be up top. Then Seth Smith, Todd Helton, who has a couple of one home run against Dan Herron. Troy Tulowitzki will be next. Brad Hopp, Ian Stewart, who homered yesterday. Torrey Alba, Barmes, who hit his 22nd yesterday, and then Jason Hamill. So here's Herron's first pitch, and it's a fastball that's just a smidgen outside, ball one, on Carlos Gonzalez, who has really defined his strike zone over the last couple of months.
Well, because of that, that's why he's hitting leadoff now.
You could never have imagined that 3 months ago.
Not at all. Yeah, you would have said he would be the last guy you would be thinking that would hit leadoff, because he was swinging at all the balls and taking all the strikes, and it's not what you're looking for.
Yeah, generally that's not a good combination.
Nope.
2-1, and it seemed he went about a 3-week period, Huey, where it was 0-2 every. He stepped out of the dugout. It was 0-2. Umpire said, "We're just going to move the game along. It's 0-2."
Speed up rules.
Big cut, no baseball. It's 2-2. Now you're in that splitter count.
Yeah, and it's a hard splitter too. That's the thing. It's not just one of those rolling ones that go up there, and you still have to sit for the fastball, but it comes out of the hand looking like a fastball.
And that was the fastball. That was down low, 3-2. It's unusual to see Herron with a 3-ball count. He, among power pitchers, probably the best control of any power pitcher in the game.
Well, that's why he has the best strikeout to walk ratio in the National League. There's 6.2 strikeouts to every walk.
Foul ball, no harm done. Swing too big for you, 3-2?
Just a little bit, but sometimes that's nerves going up there first AB against a guy like Dan Herron.
Ball 4. What an at-bat, though. The rarity of Dan Herron walked. His strikeout to walk ratio is 6.2 to 1, which is phenomenal. Let's take a look at the Fidelity scouting report on one of the top arms in the game.
That fastball 90 to 95 will cut it, and also use that hip side sinker to go back to the inside part of the plate against left-handed hitters, and we've already talked about that split. It is just nasty, and he's really kind of junked the curveball. He'll still throw it occasionally, but it's really just become a cut fastball, the hip side fastball, and the splitter.
And that pitch misses to Seth Smith, who has fashioned a .320 average since June 1st. We like to brag on Seth Smith, but he has a very pretty swing to watch. You know, Don Baylor enjoys seeing Smith get 4 at-bats.
And it's very simple, and that's where it helps to have a guy like Giambi on the bench too, because now you can run Seth Smith out there and get him the 4 at-bats. And Don's shaking his head because, yeah, Seth Smith is that guy that when you look at a swing and really break it down, the bat stays in the zone a very, very long time.
Gonzalez started to go, and I think he was afraid that he left too early and was in jeopardy maybe of Herron still picking, and he shut it down.
Well, there wasn't much stop or pause from Herron. You know, 1.28 seconds to the plate, so that's right at that line, that mark that you're looking at, and you have that clock in your head as a base runner, and you feel like if he was too quick to the plate, I can't steal the base. I'm not going to be safe if I try to go.
Two balls and a strike.
Well, so
Montero's only thrown out 17% of would-be base stealers.
Yeah, and so far, Carlos has done the right thing over at first, and so Seth Smith at the plate. Don't run yourself out of an inning right away.
Did you ever find, Huey, when you dove back in, that you dove high?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, you really got to dive, though. I mean, you really got to think about staying low to the ground and pivoting off your right foot or your lead foot to get back to the bag.
getting a little closer.
But that's a good lead, though. When it's that close, you mean you have your maximum distance that you can go. You feel comfortable being able to get back to the bag, but also now you've kind of diverted the attention, even an all-star, three-time all-star like Dan Herron, away from a dangerous bat in Seth Smith.
And this is lined to the gap in left center field, and it's going to run a little bit. Gonzalez will get a green light. And no throw to the plate, an RBI double for Seth Smith. What a start against Dan Herron. And maybe the attention diverted, as you suggest, enough that he got a fatter pitch than Herron wanted to give him.
I think so, because it was a 2-1 pitch, and Seth Smith hit his 13th double of the year. Tried to go away. It was out a little bit, but it was also right about the belt from the Hyundai cam. You can see it's going to come right in that area right there, and that's just good hitting. I mean, it's a good pitch to hit, and he drove it right exactly where he wanted to.
Now Todd Helton in an RBI situation as you look at Gonzalez finish the race home. And a line drive. It's got to get down. Upton steals a hit. Upton stole a base hit, and a good read by Seth Smith, recognizing where Upton was playing.
And that's where you check when you're out at second base. You check not only the infielders, but you also have to check the outfielders to see where they're playing. And that was a good base running job from Seth Smith to be able to understand where that was.
Well, tonight's legendary performance play brought to you by Cabot Woodstains. Troy Tulowitzki's 2 home runs off of Dan Herron this season, which is the reason the Rockies had 2 runs coming in. That was it against Dan Herron. Those 2 solo home runs on Cabot Woodstains' legendary performance. So with 1 out, Smith remains at second base. Tulowitzki's numbers not great against Herron, 4 for 21, but 2 of those home runs have left the building. Tulo was 0 for 4 yesterday in an 8-3 loss to the Mets. That's a strike. Well, some more good news for all of you. When the Rockies score first this year at Coors Field, they're 23-5. When they score first overall, they're 51-14, the best mark in baseball.
Well, that's where it comes back to that key to the game, too. Just to take a little pressure off the pitcher, too, and your offense as well. You don't feel like you have to catch
This
up.
ball's driven to left, or center field and deep. And a lovely catch by Chris Young. Smith was at third base. He's got to come back. Well, Upton and Young have kept this ball game at 1-0, and Dan Herron knows it, because you cannot hit the ball any harder than Todd Helton hit it a moment ago, and Troy Tulowitzki just hit it.
Well, it was all the break that Chris Young got to be able to go back and get that ball off the bat of Troy Tulowitzki.
Take a look at the defenders for Arizona. You know the outfielders are ready. Parra joins Young and Upton. The infield, Reynolds, Drew, Roberts, and Brandon Allen. Miguel Montero behind the plate. And Brad Hopp takes ball 1. Yeah, that's, I don't want to say it's deflating. It's just disappointing, because you can go a whole game without hitting 3 balls as hard as the Rockies have hit in this first inning against Herron. You do have 1 to show for it. You hoped you'd have more. Ground ball down the line, foul.
And to me, it's really about the play that Justin Upton made against Todd Helton, because if somehow that falls or he's not able to catch it, at least Seth Smith gets over to third base and then would score on the sac fly right there to Chris Young. But it was Upton's play off the bat of Helton, because I thought for sure from our angle that ball was going to fall, if not at least get in the gap maybe for a double.
He hit it so hard, it just stayed elevated.
Yeah, that's good backspin. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. Perfect swing, and that's what happens.
Well, when the Rockies score 7 or more runs during any ball game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6. Feed your fever with 4 tacos for $1. And it's fouled off, 2-2. Brad got to take a rest yesterday. Ryan Spilborgh's played in right field for him. RBIs against the National League West this year. Ethier's got 45. Kemp of the Dodgers 38. Loney with a big year. And then you wonder why the Dodgers are so good overall and particularly inside the division. And then Brad Hopp in that three-way tie for third. 2-2, 2 outs. Smith at second. And Brad was tardy with the swing. In the inning, the Rockies come up with a run on the RBI double by Seth Smith and nearly had another. Nothing against Dan Herron. Jason Hamill back on the hill. He'll face Miguel Montero, Mark Reynolds, and Gerardo Parra after a 1-2-3 first inning that included a punch out of Justin Upton. Montero comes in with a .296 batting average. And that's what you expect from the cleanup hitter. He fakes a drag bunt.
Especially a guy like Montero that has power.
I don't think Ian Stewart's going to buy into that.
No.
He's still playing a deep third base. And well, he should. Montero's got a quick bat.
And we saw him hit a couple home runs here at Coors Field earlier when the D-backs were in town. And that's why he's a guy, too, that doesn't strike out as much as an Upton or a Reynolds. That's why he's sandwiched in between those two guys.
Curveball misses 2-1. Get this, Huey. Since June 17th, Miguel Montero leads all big league catchers with a .331 average. And he also leads with a .559 slugging percentage. That's better than Joe Mauer. That just missed. Well received by Yorvit Torrealba, and it's 3-1.
He's just getting an opportunity to play every day now. I mean, that's been the huge difference for Montero from prior years.
The fastball's got a lot of life. It's 3-2. Well, in the past, he was playing behind Chris Snyder. They would carry 3 catchers so they could utilize his bat late in games off the bench. But I think he's forced himself into the equation next year for A.J. Hinch in that he's got to get 400 at bats.
He has to be your #1 guy.
And a fastball strikes him out. Back-to-back punch-outs, and Mark Reynolds will be coming up. No stranger to the strikeout. Let's check in with Alana Rizzo with tonight's Mike Shaw Auto Update. Alana?
All right, Drew, thanks very much. Ryan Spielborg's not in the lineup tonight. Jim Tracy wanting to put more left-handed bats up against the righty Dan Herron. But Ryan Spielborg has had a considerable amount of success against Dan Herron. In fact, he's 5 for 10 against Herron this season. I talked to Spilly earlier today. I said, what is it that makes you so successful against him? He goes, maybe it was because he threw batting practice to me when we were in college. In fact, Dan Herron lived in Ryan Spielborg's basement, and Dan Herron's wife went to UC Santa Barbara, the same school as Ryan Spielborg. Spilborghs, but when talking about his stuff, he said, you know what, he throws so many different types of pitches for strikes, you can't sit on one specific type of pitch. He goes, I don't know how I've had any success against him. I think all of the hits have been broken bat singles because he throws so hard, so many different types of things. He said, maybe it was back in the day when I used to hose him down in the yard when we lived together. That's why I'm so familiar with him, guys.
Well, he's not only 5 for 10 this year, Alana. He's 9 for 21 in his career. So he's actually had more success against Dan Herron than any other Rocky.
That's not just luck.
No.
I mean, okay, 2 for 4, maybe that's luck. That not when you have 9 hits off a guy.
He waved at that. 2-2. You don't see this very frequently. You see the left-handed shift with 3 on the left side or right side of the infield when like a guy like Ryan Howard comes up. Richie Dowers just changed his infield alignment. Before there were 2 strikes, he had Barmes on the left side. He's now moved him over more up the middle, but onto the right side. Here's the 2-2, and it's fouled off.
Yeah, we see it quite a bit against left-handed hitters. You'll see that typically more maybe like a fielder.
Yeah.
In Milwaukee, we've seen that before. We've seen the Rockies do that, but this is the first time we've seen it pulled with Reynolds, where you have Barmes now. Of course, now he's back on the second base side, as you mentioned, with 2 strikes. Before, it was 3 guys on the left.
2-2, and it's fouled off again. And it's a pull alignment. And what I mean by that, as you know, Jeff, is it's pull in the infield, it's pull in the outfield. You don't always see that.
No, sometimes you'll see pull in the infield, straight up the outfield. However it's going to work. But that just shows you what kind of alignment that they're going to use for Mark Reynolds and where he hits the ball. I mean, 66 of his hits this year have been to the left side compared to only 23 from the right.
That just missed. 3-2.
Well, the spray chart, this will give you the indication of how they're going to play. I mean, all these hits right there, they'll go ahead and play the percentages to the pull side or from right center field all the way to left field line.
And another hook, and it was inside again. So Reynolds goes to first with 1 out, the initial base runner for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Rockies fans, go to FSNinsider.com. Check out the Douglas County Water Pick'em. Pick a team to win and see how long your streak can go. With 1 out, Gerardo Parra will come up. He's in left field tonight. When Chris Young was sent down to work on his swing in AAA Reno, Parra played center field. The reason I mention that is that drive by Troy Tulowitzki in the first inning, with all due respect to Parra, he would not have made that play. Chris Young, one of the few center fielders in the game, they could have made that play.
You're right. Parra is more of a left fielder. Just doesn't have the speed in that first quick step that Young has out there. And that's the thing with Chris Young. You see him in the background there. Is his defense. There's no question about that. It's just whether he's going to be able to provide enough offense to stick.
Never been a big average guy, but he's hit home runs. This year, I mean, his average is alarmingly low. He's at 187. And for a regular, you don't want to ever be near that, whether it's April 4th or
no,
heaven forbid, September 4th.
Right, and that's why you get the send down to AAA Reno for a refresher course.
Here's the 0-1 up Parra. Ground ball, base hit. And Reynolds is going to stop at second base.
Take a look at the D. See where Clint Barmes is right there. That's double play depth. It gives you all this area to hit the ball right there, and that's exactly what Parra did. But because Brad Hopp charged the ball so hard, of course, you know about his arm. Well, there's nothing Reynolds could do other than just stay at second base. Now you still have the double play in order.
Brandon Allen steps up.
Brandon Allen, he's a Big kid. Got it from the White Sox in the Tony Pena deal. He's one of those guys, the closer you get to him,
The bigger he
the
gets.
bigger he gets.
Just out in front of smidgen there. He was the White Sox 5th round selection in the 04 June draft. In the minor leagues this year, combination of AA ball in the White Sox chain, AAA ball in the Arizona chain, hit 20 home runs. Let's give you an update on that San Francisco-Milwaukee ball game. It's 2-0 Milwaukee over the Giants in the 5th inning.
Suppan against Zito.
Zito, you know how good he's been. Good pitch, really good pitch. 1-2.
A good call from Torrealba too, to realize that this guy's going to try to hit a home run from the Hyundai Cam. We've seen this hard 12-6 breaking pitch in just the perfect location because it ends up down by the ankles. Once it gets by that hitter, swing right over the top.
And he got it. You know, you showed on the Hyundai Cam that swing. When a big league hitter misses a pitch by 6 inches, that's a significant miss.
Yeah, most of the time it's an inch or two, but now you have him set up and you can just blow that fastball away to the outside part, because in the hitter's mind he's thinking, uh-oh, he's going to try to throw that breaking pitch again, or maybe he's going to come inside. Well, then he's giving up that outer third of the plate.
So Chris Young steps up. He hit 370 down in Reno. And so the Diamondbacks called him back to the big leagues naturally, and they thought, you know, there would be a translation, and it hasn't happened. He's 1 for his last 18. And that swing kind of demonstrates where he's been.
Yeah, with 9 strikeouts during that time, too. 104 strikeouts and 332 at-bats in the 09 season. And that was the pitch right there. You're going up there from the on-deck circle to the batter's box. That's almost in the other's batter's box, and you're still swinging at it. To me, that's just lack of
no game plan.
Yeah, no game plan. Strike zone discipline's thrown right out the window. Whatever you did down in AAA, you forgot on the plane flight back up to the big leagues.
Or, and Huey, maybe you've been there. I mean, every big league hitter has. Maybe you have a game plan, but when the pitch comes, everything the body,
forget about it.
Yeah, the body takes over. And
no, and that does happen too. But to me, Chris Young has to be a guy. You had the success down in AAA. Forget about whatever your numbers were coming into the ball game tonight, because you're not going to be able to raise those a whole lot. Go forward from whenever you came back up to the end of the season and use that as a mini season.
And strikeout, locked to first. Good job by Hamill. So he strikes out Chris Young. 2 men left on in the Arizona second. The Rockies with a 1-0 lead. Ian Stewart to lead it off. Ahead brought to you by E470 and Express Toll, the best way to save time and money. Well, the Diamondbacks are here over the weekend, and then an afternoon affair on Labor Day against the Reds. First of 4, in fact, against Dusty Baker's club. Then the Rockies will head west. They'll play a 9-game. They'll have a 9-game road trip. All inside the NL West. San Diego, San Francisco, and these Diamondbacks. Stewart takes a somewhat of a drop-down slider for strike one. He hit his 20th home run of the year yesterday. Rockies got beat, as we talked about, 8-3. All 3 runs on solo home runs. And this ball is hit a ton right center field. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. Wow. Did that go to the 3rd deck or the 2nd? It was so far we couldn't tell.
It looked like it might have just gotten to the 2nd deck, but that ball was up there forever. Wow. Yesterday's home run, he hit the dead center field on a ball that was away from him just a little bit, strong enough to drive it out. Today, this one, we tried to go inside. It just, with a hip side fastball that I talked about earlier, won't work back over the middle part of the plate. And just the extension, the Hyundai cam, shows how that bat just traveled right through the zone. Man, oh man.
You know, we talked about the upper deck. He hit several balls, not just into the upper deck, which is an achievement by itself in batting practice, but I mean well into the upper deck today. Torrealba takes strike one. And you want to get Don Baylor and Jim Tracy excited. Get Ian Stewart hot again for this stretch run. He is a guy, and I need not tell you this, that has enough offensive ability to literally carry a team by himself for a week, 10 days. Well, and we've seen him do it.
Right, and you look at it, you have about 3.5 weeks left in the season. If he gets on one of those rolls, yeah, he can carry you.
Coming into that at bat, he was a career 1 for 12 against Herring, but he hit a 400+ foot big fly. 2-0 Colorado. Torrealba fouls that off. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's just shocking to me that Dan Herron has allowed that many home runs on the road for a guy with a minuscule ERA.
Yeah, 278, which is 6th best in the league, to have that, giving up that many home runs. A lot of them are solo shots. And typically he works down in the zone too. That pitch that he threw to Ian Stewart was left up in the zone, and the one to Seth Smith was also up, the one he hit into the gap for a double.
Three and 2 on Torrealba, who's enjoying a tremendous run offensively. The 12-game hitting streak for Yorvie is the best in baseball, along with a fellow by the name of Alex Rodriguez for the New York Yankees. And for Torrealba, it's the best stretch of his career. He's hitting just below 400 during it. And right now, he's taken over the #1 duties behind the plate.
Well, because he's giving you that offense too, and that's the thing. And when you're 4-6 in your last 10 ball games, but you have a guy like Torrealba that's sitting out there, and he's throwing out a lot of hits, that helps turn over the lineup. You're going to keep him out there.
And right now, he's extending the pitch count, if nothing else, to Dan Herron. Leadoff home run in the 2nd by Ian Stewart. Clint Barmas on deck. We got a pitch to hit. And this is hit to deep center field. Young is going to outrun the baseball. He didn't miss that by much. As you guys sometimes say in the dugout, he missed that by a grain.
And that was a grain, but one guy that didn't miss it by a grain was Ian Stewart. We'll go back to his swing here in a second. Take a look at this, and we'll lock it in, and his eyes really tell the difference of this whole thing. Look at the way those eyes are traveling right down the barrel of the bat. Perfect palm up, palm down position right there. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that, and then the follow-through allows that ball to get way out.
And no flying inside elbow, man. It's tucked tight to the body.
Well, and that was the other thing. Sometimes you work underneath it. We call chicken wing it a little bit, where that front elbow goes up underneath and then drops the barrel of the bat. There was no chicken wing into that swing from Ian Stewart.
2-strike count on Barmes with 1 out. There's the splitter. 1-2. Barmes clicked his 22nd home run of the year yesterday. Leads the club with 12 since the All-Star break.
Yesterday was just ruled a double at first, and then they kind of figured it out and said, you know what, this was a home run. This is one we were talking about yesterday. I wasn't quite sure what happened, where it went. Originally it was ruled a double, and they got together and said, nope, that was a home run. And it was hit so hard, went off those seats right behind the line in left field and came back into the field in a hurry.
And Barmes gone on a slider. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Jason Hamill. Second strikeout for Dan Herron. Well, yesterday, the Diamondbacks were at Dodger Stadium, and they lost 4-2 to LA. But that really wasn't the story. The story was who beat them. John Garland, their teammate, until about 4 days ago, beat them 4-2. 7 strong innings for Garland. And oh, by the way, a week ago, as Hamill throws out a base hit, a week ago, John Garland, pitching for Arizona, had beaten LA. It is only the second time in the grand history of this game that a pitcher won a game for and against the same team in a 7-day period. The first time, I'm sure you'll all recall, Jumbo McGinnis did it for the St. Louis Browns back on July 8th and 11th of 1886.
Jumbo could pitch, though.
And Jumbo didn't need 5 days between starts, just 3. Carlos Gonzalez takes ball 1.
Well, at least when he was traded, he didn't have to go far because they were already out in LA. So he just moved, from one dugout to the other.
This ball pulled down the line, deep and foul. Well, Garland had a great quote because when the trade went down, they were playing the Dodgers, and it was the 7th inning of the ball game. He's sitting in the clubhouse now. He goes, I don't know who to root for.
Yeah. D-backs, Dodgers.
I think you should be allowed, from a sentimental standpoint, to root for the team that the uniform you're still wearing till the conclusion, at least,
so
of the meal after the ball game.
Right. I mean, it's kind of like what happened. Who was it? Joel Youngblood.
Yeah.
In
between games of a doubleheader.
Of a doubleheader.
Two and 1 on Gonzalez. I was talking to Carlos for a while this afternoon. I said a little extra motivation taking on the Diamondbacks, and he said, you bet. He said, no question. He goes, this is a team I came up with and never got a chance to play in the big leagues with. And he said, when I got traded from Oakland to the Rockies, I was happy. He goes, not a big deal. But the first time you get traded, you feel like a scorned lover.
Well, and also you're facing Dan Herron, who you were traded, part of the trade package.
That's right. All Carlos needs to do to boost his ego is to know that I've been traded twice. One time for Dan Herron, one of the game's great pitchers. The second time, ostensibly, for Matt Holliday, one of the game's great sluggers.
That just speaks volumes of Carlos Gonzalez's ability.
Here's the 3-2, and this ball is hit well to left. Going back is Parra, still going back. And on the edge of the warning track, he gathers it in. The Rockies get another run in the second. Ian Stewart with a top-shelf home run against Herron. It is 2-0 Colorado at Coors Field. Babe Ruth's 60 mark year instead of listing it separately as it was since 1962. The panel also redefines a no-hit game as one which ends after 9+ innings, thereby removing 50 games from the list that had previously been considered hitless. Interesting stuff. That from the Statistical Accuracy Committee. Dan Herron will lead it off in the 3rd inning. He can hit. Jason Hamill's fastball down low. Hamill has a home run this year, 8 RBIs. He's hitting .241. His batting average of those pitchers with more than 50 plate appearances is 2nd in the league to a former Diamondback, and no surprise that this guy's leading the party, Micah Owings.
Yeah, Dan Herron, .241 average, as you mentioned, 14 for 58.
I will tell you there is a surprise in the number 4 spot on the pitchers list. Herron didn't bite at the slider. Mike Owings is number 1. Dan Herron number 2, actually tied with Carlos Zambrano, who's one of the game's best hitters among pitchers. Ubaldo Jimenez is 4th at .235. Didn't have him on the list back in March.
Well, it's a good thing he didn't get thrown out on that base hit to right field a couple days ago when he was pitching then.
That's right. Jason Marquis,
so high.
Yeah, Jason Marquis is 7th. So Owings, I don't know why Owings isn't on that list. Why isn't Owings on that list? He's got another hit, Herron. And this ball is going to run to the wall. And Herron, if he hustles, will have a double. Boy, you hate when that happens. Get the pitcher leading off exactly the way you want it, and then he throws out a double.
Yeah, with a couple strikes, too. Yeah, I mean, a 2-2 count. Tried to work the fastball away. Maybe a backup slider instead. That was a backup slider, and it just didn't back up enough. Just stayed over the middle part of the plate, and he hit it into the gap. All right, Clint Barmer shifted over now a little bit more into the hole and in between 1st and 2nd.
There's a strike on Stephen Drew. Drew hit a fly ball to fairly deep right field his first time up. His 3 for his last 19 at the plate.
Well, he's just looking to pull the ball in this situation to get Herron over to 3rd base.
Almost getting a number of swings and misses.
He's getting a lot more break on his pitches, no matter whether it's the changeup or the curveball than we've seen for a while. And to me, a changeup's a really good pitch when you have a guy 0-2 who's looking to try to pull the ball.
They set up away, and it's a changeup again.
Because as a hitter, I'm looking to try to hit a ball, so I have to start my swing a little bit sooner if I'm hitting from the left side. So that's where that changeup is such a good pitch, because you feel like it's coming out of the pitcher's hand as a fastball. And then when I recognize it, it's too late.
Where's that? Maybe a little bit low. 2-2.
Mike Everett, the home plate umpire, typically is an umpire that has a little bit higher strike zone. You see his setup right now. That's just a setup that'll lead itself to a higher strike. We've seen some guys that'll get really crouched down almost where their knees are on the ground behind the catcher. That'll tell you that their strike zone is going to be lower.
Windshield cracked? Call Colorado's #1 team, Elite Safelite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000, or visit them online at safelite.com. 2-2 on Stephen Drew. That's pop foul out of play. At the outset of our broadcast, we were talking about how Jason Hamill has drawn a number of tough bulls lately. In his last outing, he drew Matt Cain, Cy Young candidate. Dan Herron, certainly a Cy Young candidate. 2 starts ago was Clayton Kershaw, who's got unbelievable stuff. Ground ball, right side.
Whoa.
Helton got a bad hop, and with his soft hands, he handled it. So Drew accomplishes his mission. He moves the runner up.
Well, let's see this hop you were talking about, Drew, right where the dirt and all the guys are leading off first base. And that just jumped up there. Todd made the play.
So you go back Kershaw, and then 4 starts ago is down in Florida against Josh Johnson, Cy Young Award candidate. You go back to the end of July in New York, he had to face Johan Santana, and prior to that it was Matt Cain again. So Hamill may be pitching out of the 4 or 5 slot in the rotation. He has faced a lot of number ones, and I don't mean just any number one. I mean some of the best in the game.
Exactly, but that goes back to the point that we always make after opening day and the number ones match up. Really, they don't match up too often after that because of rainouts and off days and different schedules. All of that, so you might have your number 4, your number 5 matching up against a number 1. You just can't tell because of the length of the season. You play 162 ball games. Sometimes that's what you get.
That's a strike. It's 1 and 2 on Roberts.
Well, right now they have Roberts guessing. He has no idea what's going to come up next because he's seen the curveball, or he's not really seen it because he's not been able to make contact. Then they come back. They struck him out the first time. Or I got the little weak ground ball the first on a fastball. That time it was a fastball in. Now you got him set up fastball in or another breaking pitch.
And they tried to get him to chase high. 2 and 2. Good idea. This is one of those situations, Jeff, where Hamill, who has strikeout ability, he's got 4 already in the game, he's looking for the punch out.
Well, he is, and you can get the punch out against Roberts by elevating it or throwing the breaking pitch down in the dirt.
Ooh, hit him. That is not what he was looking to do.
Not at all. Tried to go inside up underneath the hands and just ran away from the ball as Jason Hamill did. I mean, he started to go towards first base, and then the ball came out of his hand just a little bit late. Under cam shows it got right on that elbow, and Roberts doesn't wear that pad on that elbow like we see a lot of hitters do now.
Lorenzo Bundy, who used to work for the Rockies at first base, the skipper in the winter in the Mexican League from Mazatlan.
Going back again this year.
Yeah. In fact, Lorenzo's wife is from Mazatlan. So it's a family affair when he's down in Mazatlan in the winter. Here's Justin Upton, first and third, 1 out. And again, Hamill challenging Upton and throwing the fastball by him. He threw it by him to strike him out in the first inning.
We talk about speed a lot with fastballs. I mean, the fastball is 93 miles an hour, but the guys aren't swinging like it's 93. They're swinging like it's 98, 99 miles an hour. They're just not picking it up. It's got that late life that you talk about, and the hitters will let you know how hard the ball is being thrown.
And swing late again, so it's 0 and 2 on Upton. Miguel Montero on deck. Rockies up 2-0. It remains 2-0 in Milwaukee. The Brewers leading the Giants.
I like this. They're going to elevate a fastball again. Try to get it up to swing through it.
They got him. Runner goes, and Torrealba will not venture a throw, but Upton is a strikeout victim again. That's 5 for Hamill. Now they're 2 outs, and Montero at the plate. He struck out leading off the second inning.
Well, the reason I said I like this 0-2 fastball up is because he had fouled off and he was late on the first 2 swings, so I don't want to throw something soft to speed up his bat. And even though Roberts was able to steal second base, I mean, their focus was on Upton, because if you make a mistake there, he's going to jump on it. It's going to be a 3-2 ball game right away. Yes. But you're not out of the woods, though, right now with Montero. Pitch to him carefully, because I think, and I know where you're going with this, you got Reynolds on deck.
See, I agree, and I was just going to throw that to you, and I guarantee you that's what that conversation was about. You say you got a 40 home run guy on deck, why would you want to deal with him? But you have a left-handed bat, Montero, who's a very good hitter. And Reynolds has not been swinging the bat well lately. And part of the reason is he battled a flu/pneumonia bout a little more than a week ago. He lost 12 pounds, and he told me before the ball game his strength's not back yet.
No, I mean, you miss that much time, you're going to be weak. So when you're weak like that, all of a sudden you start to create more with your swing. So that's why now, to me, he would be an easier guy to pitch to than Montero would be, with 184 strikeouts to boot.
Yeah, dangerous guy, obviously. But he's 2 for his last 22. 3-0. And the crowd's going to groan, but this is somewhat by design.
I was just looking down the dugout to see if Jim Tracy would go ahead and put up the 4 fingers. He didn't. He has the confidence right now, the way Hamill's been throwing the ball, to go ahead and intentionally walk him.
Well, he left him on fat, and it's going to cause a tie game. I mean, I don't understand that.
No,
you pitch around him for 3 pitches, and then you lay a 91-mile-an-hour fastball right down the heart. And Jim Tracy drops his head. Now it's a 2-2 ball game.
Yeah, and you just had a feeling, too, he was going to be swinging on 3-0. You've done such a good job up to this point of throwing up pitches where you wanted to. But that one, even though it was away from Montero, we could see that from the Hyundai cam, that still was too elevated up into the zone. And he hit it exactly right where it was pitched.
And that stolen base ends up really hurting. And off the end of the bat, fly ball to Brad Hopp. 1 pitch cost the Rockies a couple of runs, and now we're all even again. Bottom of the 3rd inning, Seth Smith will lead it off. Now that was disappointing. The Rockies, Jason Hamill gives up a 3-0 base hit when he was pitching around Montero to get at the slumping Reynolds. And you work so hard, Jeff Houston, to get runs off of Dan Herron.
And that is the frustrating thing, because you feel like, okay, we got the base hit in the 1st inning, and then the home run, you're up 2-0. A guy like Herron, and seemingly in a blink of an eye, it's back to tied again. And one of those runs scored was because of Dan Herron's base hit.
Yeah, that's the other factor, sure. The double leading off the inning. This is a line drive. It's fouled by about 60 yards. 1-2 on Smith, who had an RBI double to left center field in the 1st. Smith's average at 301 after that double. Mets won again tonight. Corey Sullivan hit a home run. Former Rocky. First home run in a couple of years for Corey. Still 2-0 in the 6th inning. Milwaukee over San Francisco. The Giants have one hit against Jeff Suppan. Rockies up in the wild card race by a game.
One of the scores we saw go by too. With Cincinnati beating Atlanta.
Good news.
Which is good news.
I tell you what was really good news the last few days is that Florida and Atlanta kind of beat each other up. So they're both 4 back beginning play tonight in the wild card chase. This ball is ripped to right, up to. He didn't want to come on and risk having that go by him, so he went back and fielded it on a hop. I'll tell you what, already tonight, Jeff, tell me if you concur. The Rockies have hit more balls hard against Dan Herron than the 20 previous innings combined.
Yeah, I would agree with you 100%. I mean, the Seth Smith, the second ball that he's hit hard tonight, he had the double back in the 1st inning and right there, and there was nothing Upton could do. I mean, he had to go back and play it on the hop. And of course, Todd Helton lined out to Upton earlier.
He takes a strike. All right, we'll go back. Seth Smith's double obviously hit hard his first time up. Helton, as you just mentioned, hit a bullet to right. That's 2 line drives. Tulowitzki hit a bullet to the track that Chris Young somehow chased down. That's 3. Stewart hit one 5 miles. That's 4. Outside. Torrey Alba just missed, perhaps hitting one out. That's 5. Jason Hamill, a line drive base hit, is 6. And then Gonzalez hit one at the track and left is 7. And Smith's base, that's 8 balls squared up by the Rockies, and we're just in the 3rd inning with nobody out. And this ball's hit a ton, but it's going to twist foul.
This is the first 2 hitters of this inning too. Seth Smith yanked that one foul, and now Todd hit another one foul right here. It's so far Dan Herron is not fooling them. That whenever he's coming somewhere into the zone, that they put a good pass on the baseball.
This is up the middle, and Drew's going to turn it into a double play. Troy Tulowitzki comes up, 2 outs and nobody on.
There's that low pitch again that has not been called for a strike.
Just got a message from Mark Gustafson, the Rockies director of player development and oversees minor leagues. The Asheville Terps won 4-0 tonight to win the 2nd half championship in the South Atlantic League. The Rockies beginning play today. 5 of their 6 minor league affiliates, either in 1st or 2nd place, a chance to play in the postseason.
And that's just a special feeling for your whole organization to be able to have that kind of success. Not only at the big league level, but all the hard work, all those coaches down at the minor league level, the coordinators, to be able to say, you know what, we're going to the playoffs. Because, you know, a lot of times in the minor league system, you talk about developing players. Well, you also want to develop that winning attitude, too.
Joe Michaluk, we've talked about it often on our broadcast, the manager for many years in Asheville, a decade now, does such a great job. Drew throws to first. Tulowitzki is gone. So are the Rockies in the 3rd. They got a leadoff hit from Smith, nothing else. 2-2 ball game as we go to the 4th. Arizona. Let's check in with Alana Rizzo with our great Colorado Payback Sideline report. Alana.
All right, Drew, thanks very much. I had an opportunity to talk to Chris Iannetta earlier today about some of the things that he's been working on since he's been working on a new approach and a new feel at the plate. Yorvit Torrealba getting most of the time behind the dish. He said, you know, one thing that's really helped me specifically in the last week is the fact that I'm doing that toe tap. It's the same toe tap, guys, that Troy Tulowitzki has been using a lot in the batter's box to help get that rhythm at the plate when they're in the batter's box. And he said, you know what, it's helped me a lot. I've noticed a constant progression since I have started using it. I'm just trying not to do the same things I was doing before. I'm still trying to have the patience at the plate, the aggression at the plate, but really the toe tap and finding more of that rhythm. He's also been taking a lot of early batting practice. He did that today, and he also has had Brian Jones, the video coordinator, videotape his swing, his approach, and things like that. He goes, I'm trying not to let it bother me. I'm more than happy for Yorvit Torrealba. They really pull for one another. They're good friends. He said, I'm just trying to figure things out so I can contribute any way I can down the stretch, guys.
Well, Chris Iannetta went to the toe tap about a week ago, and at a distance, I was watching him one day during early batting practice, Huey, and he looked exactly like Tulowitzki at the plate. Did you ever try to implement that toe tap?
I really didn't. It all comes down to a timing thing, and it's one of those things when you're playing a lot, it's a lot easier to do because you have that timing mechanism. And you know, Chris has just been able to do it during batting practice. He did it yesterday for a home run, and so you look at it, and to me, what it does is kind of frees up your hands a little bit more. And the other thing, watching him today with the toe tap during batting practice, he wasn't quite diving as much towards the plate, which freed up that front side a little bit to use those hands to get inside the baseball.
Brandon Allen takes ball one after the Parra comebacker. Chris was saying to us before the game, so you're using the toe tap as a timing mechanism, but you also have to get the timing down of when to toe tap.
Yeah, that is the most difficult thing is, okay, is it going to be when the pitcher starts to come up into his motion? Is it going to be when his front foot lands? When is it? Rule of thumb for me is it's always better to be early with a timing mechanism than late. So if you do the toe tap a little too early or the leg kick, whatever it is, if you do it earlier, it allows you to get that foot down and get those hands through instead of late and having to rush through it all.
3-1 on Allen, who struck out his first time. Hamill was cruising but gave up a 2-run, 2-out single on a 3-0 pitch to Miguel Montero last inning. He has pitched more effectively than Dan Herron, but it's a tie ball game. And he just lost Brandon Allen. That'll bring up Chris Young. Let's take a look at our Aflac trivia question. Ian Stewart is the 5th left-handed batter in team history to hit 20 home runs in a season. Can you name the other 4? 3 should be pretty easy. You may have forgotten about one of the lefties. Young struck out his first time.
I'll just pitch him the same way you pitched him back in that second inning. Pull away from him.
And he served one up that's ripped to left field. So Chris Young with just his second hit in his last 20 at-bats. And now it's first and second with Dan Herron coming up. On one hand, you assume he's going to sacrifice, but now that it's a tie ball game and the way he handles the bat, it's not automatic.
No, and that puts a lot of pressure on the infielders, whether it's Todd Helton or Ian Stewart, because now you're like, okay, how hard do I charge coming home? And yeah, he has 9 sacrifice bunts on the year, but we also saw him hit a double his first time up. 68 pitches now, 69th coming up to Dan Herron. But if I'm Ian Stewart, I can't charge that hard. I got to say, okay, Jason, you're going to have to take the line over here. Okay, you've got that. I can't get too close And then Todd's going to have basically that whole area as he comes in.
He pulls it back, not a surprise, up the middle. Tulowitzki, great play, and the throw to first is wild. And Helton did a great job of keeping that from going toward the dugout and preserving a tie baseball game, because Allen would have scored. So as we suspected, they put the slug bunt on.
Yep.
And it looked like it was going to work out for the Rockies, but Barmis's throw.
But look where Helton is. I mean, Helton's got it. He's charged, stopped. Now he's got to get all the way back to the bag, and the ball's not even hit yet. I mean, that's the flip, and then Barmis turns around and wheels, and then for Todd to be able to come off the bag to get that. But Clint Barmis has to realize, you know what, that ball's hit pretty hard. I got to give him an extra second to get back to the bag.
He's got a pitcher running too.
Yep.
Easy for up here, but
right. But
he could have cleared himself from the runner and taken an extra beat.
Yeah, I mean, just turned, and fortunately Todd was able to come off the bag and get that.
So now it's Steve and Drew with a 1-0 count. Runners at first and third, 2 outs. Drew is 0 for 2, fly ball to right field and a ground ball to first. Drew's one of those guys, you put a Rockies uniform on the opposition and he looks like he's preparing an induction speech to Cooperstown. 476 this year at Coors Field. George and I were chatting about this the other day. The elite pitchers, the guys like Dan Herron, when you look at their numbers and then you see their numbers with runners in scoring position, runners on base, they're always better. And the guys that are working their way up have to try to reach that point.
Yeah, because they haven't figured out how to get out of those troublesome innings when you have some traffic out there. The veteran guys like a Herron, 3-time All-Star, he understands, okay, there's traffic out there. I don't have to be quite as fine, because the hitter sometimes gets himself out because they start to overswing. And I think when a young pitcher gets out there, he starts to feel all the pressure on himself instead of making the pitch and let the hitter get himself out. Well, I got to do more.
And this should end the inning. A wild throw, and Barmis misses Helton, and Allen scores. It is 3-2 Arizona on the error on Clint Barmis. He had an in-between hop, and he really had an option, I would think, either way, to go to second or to first, and kind of went sidearm, and the throw was high.
Yeah, he had the option to get Herron, especially with the pitcher running, just make the nice easy flip to second base. Instead, he dropped down and really worked underneath the baseball and just threw it almost uphill. It's unfortunate because Jason Hamill made the pitch that he wanted to get out of this inning to be 2-2. And Clint, once he got the little in-between hop with Steve and Drew running, just felt like he had to make a faster throw when he didn't have to.
Now, the last 2 throws uncharacteristic of Clint Barmis, who's played an extraordinary second base this year for the Rockies. So now it's 3-2 Arizona in a ball game you feel like the Rockies have played better in, but they have the deficit. And by the way, the Giants have caught Milwaukee. You didn't want to hear that. We didn't want to hear that. It's 2-2 in the 6th. Foul ball off the bat of Ryan Roberts. And I think it was a real good move by Jim Tracy to send out Bob Apodaca. Speaking of young pitchers, I think if Dan Herron's out there, it's not necessary. But with Hamill, you want to say, okay, listen, things happen. Make sure you focus on getting Roberts and don't give him another run.
Take a deep breath.
1-1. The other thing it does is extend the pitch count a little bit more. There have been some deep counts. There generally are when you have strikeouts. And Hamill has 5, but he's at 76 pitches now as he works in the 4th inning.
Yeah, the last 2 innings, it really just jumped up that pitch count.
Good pitch. Breaking ball for a strike. It's 1-2. Roberts hits a high fly ball. It's going to land in the seats on the right field line.
We'll take a look at the pitches by inning, and really, I mean, you can even go back as far as the second inning when he got the first guy out and then had the walk and then the base hit, but was able to get Allen and Young. But now in the third and fourth, it's just too many pitches, and 20 pitches this inning. Well, he could have been out of it with 15. The ground ball to Barmes.
Stewart cuts it off, and he just did get it to Barmes in time to get Stephen Drew. In the inning, another run, an unearned run for Arizona. They have a 3. Question again. Ian Stewart is the 5th left-handed batter in team history to hit 20 home runs in a season. Can you name the other 4? Well, 2 are playing tonight. Todd Helton, of course, Brad Hopp. Those 2 are easy. Larry Walker's easy. Did it 6 times. The one that I think people may have forgotten, Jeremy Burnitz. He wasn't here very long, but Burnitz had big-time power. Stewart's got big-time power. He will hit second in the inning behind Brad Hopp. So the Rockies, who got off to a 2-0 start against Dan Herron and have hit a number of balls extremely hard, trail by a run in the bottom of the 4th. Hopp struck out swinging his first time. That was pitch number 61 on the night for Herron. So both Herron and Hamill, at least by pitch count, don't seem to be long for this ball game.
No, and that would work in the advantage of the Rockies if you can get Dan Herron out of there by, say, the 6th or 7th inning at the latest. You like your chances.
Brad Hopp still going through one of those periods. Jeff, he's throwing out hits and he's throwing out extra base hits, but there have been far more swings and misses since the All-Star break than I recall in the first half.
No, you're right, and that's the one thing that he's been trying to work on, because he's working underneath the baseball a little bit. Raise those hands up so where you can take the knob of the bat straight to the ball. Well, that's not quite happening. They can. This foul ball off the bat of Brad Hopp catches, well, Montero right on the arm. Now, with nobody on, you're taught to have that arm behind your body. I'm not sure it would have completely saved it, but it would have saved a lot of the aches and pains he's going through right now.
Is that where it hurts?
Right here?
Yeah. You mean the reason I just screamed? Yeah.
Right.
That would be the spot I got hit on.
Well, Bill Ziegler, our trainer in Texas, when I was there, would do the same thing. And come out there and just start, like, ouch, that hurts. Don't do that. Yeah, that's exactly where it hurts, and why you keep poking that spot.
Basically, at that point in time, the trainer can go out, basically say, where'd you get hit?
And remember, they used to have that cold spray. That stuff was really good. In olden days, you just get that cold spray out, numb it up. They don't have that anymore.
You're
not allowed to use it or something.
That went away along with Huey. I got one for you. Remember when, with nobody on, ground ball to short, he threw to first. The first baseman would turn and throw to the catcher, back it up to start the throw it around the infield.
I remember
What's ever happened to that?
I don't know. I like that one, though.
I used to love that. Here's the 1-2. And Brad rolls it foul. I particularly used to like it because I used to catch, so it got, got me something to do there. Yeah. I mean, if I'm going to run 90 feet, I want something, throw me the ball.
You ran all that way, and you don't even get to participate.
2-2. Really, when was the last time you saw a team throw it around that way? Can't recall.
Did the Astros do it with Pudge?
Foul tip, and it's held by Montero. Second time Brad's gone down swinging tonight. Third strikeout for Herron. Well, yesterday, Ian Stewart against Pat Mish hit one to dead center field. And tonight, he hit one to the second deck over the bullpens. Inside. The slider on the outside corner, 1-1. Here we're talking about Brad Hopp and the increase in strikeouts, swings and misses. Brad struck out once every 4.5 at bats in the first half. That's a strike. Since the All-Star break, he has struck out once every 2.8 at bats. But again, he has the ability to turn that around quickly. I don't think middle of the order guys worry about the strikeout that much, do they, Jeff?
Not as much as a guy saying hitting 1 or 2 or maybe down at the 7, 8, 9 spots. Those areas can't strike out as much, but the 3 and 4, 5 hole hitters, they're going to strike out more than everybody else because they're also the ones that have all the power.
Tell you what you don't want to see with that 1-run lead. You don't want to see Herron all of a sudden find his rhythm, find his groove. Because he can throw up zeros faster than just about anybody in the game.
Pitch count, a lot of those balls were earlier in the first couple innings, and now he's just kind of found that rhythm that you were talking about. Drew 4 strikeouts, but he's had 2 in the last 2 hitters.
Torrealba hit a ball to deep right center field, tracked down by Chris Young. Young shading him toward right center. And another drop down slider.
We've seen him drop down and use that slider more than I can recall from a Dan Herron in the past. But that's where that veteran guy understands, you know what, I'm having trouble locating the fastball. My splitter's not doing the same thing, so I'm going to have to basically invent a pitch out here, and he's been able to do that.
And that was the more conventional slider.
Right.
The last pitch, 0-2 on Torrealba.
That was a split. And Herron really kind of sets that as he's going into his glove. From the Hyundai cam, That's where the grip is and how wide his fingers are, and he just throws it and lets the ball come out just like he'd be throwing a fastball.
He may double up on it. 3-2. That looked like another splitter.
Yep.
Torrealba's worked it full after being behind 0-2. 2 outs, nobody on. On the ground, deep third, Reynolds with a long throw and a good pickup at first by Brandon Allen. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Dan Herron. We'll go to the 5th. It is 3-2 Arizona. .com. Well, the Rockies had a 2-0 lead. That has disappeared. They trail 3-2, top of the 5th. Justin Upton, Miguel Montero, Mark Reynolds. And the curveball's inside on Upton, who has struck out twice. Upton since August 1st hitting .414. He did miss a period of August with an oblique strain. Good pitch.
Woo. Sure about that? That looked like he swung.
He said the same thing I just said.
Yeah.
Jason Hamill, I think, in disbelief that that wasn't called a strike.
We'll take another look. Oh, yeah, he went.
Yeah, Hamill came out of his delivery on that fastball. It's 3-1. 83 pitches in for Jason. He's pitching very well against Matt Cain in his last outing against the Giants, but he was gone after 5 innings. Good job by Tulowitzki. That ground ball. play it forces a shortstop. What are you thinking?
Well, you're thinking I got to go get it, and then you realize on the third hop I can't do it. But I know that Upton runs well. I've got to get rid of it. So Troy sets and then quick, just a shuffle of the feet. It wasn't a big long step. One more look at it. He gets around it and realizes right now I can't do it. So what I'm going to have to do, I speed up my feet. When I speed up my feet, that allows my hand to get up into a good throwing position. That was just a smart play from Troy not to overcharge that ball. So many times we're taught as a kid, come get the ball.
This ball's hit a long way right center field by Montero. And chasing it down is Carlos Gonzalez as he takes extra bases away from his friend Montero, he grew up in the Arizona system with.
He made that look easy, didn't he? Because when this ball was hit, it looked like it might have a chance to get out, or he'd have to at least climb the wall, but it was hit so high that Carlos about right now realized, you know what, I got this in my back pocket. I know that wall's coming up. I'll just jump up a little bit.
Those guys know each other very well, fellow Venezuelans. Mark Reynolds, a walk and a fly ball to right field. And wow, he threw his bat at that pitch as soon as it left the hand. 0-1 on Reynolds, who was punched out 184 times. I love the conversations in spring training, how he's going to have a different two-strike approach. And he is who he is. And you know what? Well, you take 40 home runs, 90-plus RBIs, and 274 average coming into the ball game. He strikes out a lot, but guess what? He's going to put up big numbers, and he's a pretty athletic third baseman.
Well, how about all three of those guys on that list? They put up big home run numbers. I mean, they are who they are. Yeah. And why try to change him? You know he's going to strike out over 200 times. That just comes with the territory. But he's also going to probably hit, when it's all said and done, 45 to 47 home runs.
And he's going to win you a lot of games with his power. And he's a guy, we're talking about Ian Stewart, trying to get to that level where he can carry a club offensively for a period of time. Reynolds can do that. Here's the 1-2. 2-2.
We'll see this guy down at the bottom. Right there, Matty.
Yeah. Matty's
also kind of taking Mark Reynolds underneath his wing over there.
It's home run distance, but it's foul by a long way. I don't know if I've ever seen that. That thing hit the third deck.
Yeah, it hit the third
corner
deck.
of the third deck and then bounced onto the concourse.
Yeah, he only pulled it foul by about 100 feet.
Yeah, he hit it 400 feet. You got to have an advanced degree in geometry to figure out actually how far that went. And he got him on a slider in the dirt. Reynolds will jog first, but Torrealba all over it. 1-2-3 inning, much needed for Jason Hamill. It's his 6th strikeout. 3-2 Arizona. own that distinction, but a lot of good that's going to do them. They're down 3-2. You don't get any bonus points for that. Clint Barmas will lead it off, hitting out of the 8-hole. Then Jason Hamill in the top of the order. And Barmas turns and launches one foul. And this hits off the second deck and kicks into the seats. Two-strike count. Aaron's pitch count at 81.
He's just tried to work that slider and that split finger away, away, away. Clint's just going to have to just say, you know what, I'm going to give up the inside part of the plate and just look to punch the ball to right field.
Second time Herron's been able to get Clint. 5 strikeouts for Herron. Jason Hamill will come up. It's time to go outside the box. Arizona career ERA leaders. Randy Johnson at 2.83, then Dan Herron next. Kurt Schilling, what kind of years he had with Arizona. 4th on the list, Brandon Webb, who sat out the whole year with the exception of 4 innings he threw against the Rockies opening day. 5th on the list is Jose Valverde, who's now in Houston. He, of course, is a closer. Hamill has a hit tonight. And he's also got a 2-0 count. That is brought to you by Jack in the Box.
Well, I think if Clint would have got on, maybe with the double, we might have seen a pinch hitter for Jason.
You know what? I still think, I may be wrong, but I still think you a single double, you would have seen a sacrifice and Hamill stay in the ball game. He had a 1-2-3 inning, pitch count at 90. I really think Jim would prefer to get another inning out of Hamill.
No, and I understand what you're thinking. My point is, you're looking at it. Herron's already got the 1-run lead. As good as he is, the only thing you're looking at, maybe
that's a base hit right there.
There you go. That's what you're looking at.
That's why you can't pinch hit for him. He's 2 for 2. Yeah, he can go back to the dugout. So what's the big deal about Herron? Well, I mean, why does he have such a low ERA?
I've got him figured out, folks. I'll take one to right field, move the infield back, and now just dribble one down. I mean, you couldn't have rolled it out there any better than that swing.
Gonzalez, a walk and a run scored in the first, and a deep drive to left in the second inning. Outside, ball 1 on Carlos.
Well, Carlos, since August 1st, at 366.
Every day for Jim Tracy, especially with out-of-town media, more and more questions surrounding Carlos Gonzalez and his quick rise. And Jim Tracy usually concludes whatever statements he makes about Carlos Gonzalez, and he's effusive in his praise of Gonzalez, but it usually ends with, this is a very, very special talent. 2-1.
But I think some of the credit has to go back to Jim Tracy and his staff, though, and showing the patience with Carlos Gonzalez and looking at it and saying, you know, here's a guy that has pretty good talent. We got to stick with him.
Two and 2 on Gonzalez. Take that 2-strike walk hitters often do to regather their thoughts.
Especially when you overswing a little bit on a pitch. Okay, go back to a more simple approach. Terrell's getting beat up back there tonight.
Yeah.
One off the forearm and the Hyundai cam right off the bat. Right off the mask.
He said regather your thoughts on the swing. That was not a 2-strike swing, though. That was the I want to pay back my old club swing. 3 and 2. Feeling more and more comfortable every day. Well, he should, by the numbers he's put up in the second half. And a very playful and fun, contagious personality has come out also. That's on the outside corner, strike 3.
Backdoor curveball. One of the few we've seen from Herron tonight. And this is what makes a veteran pitcher. To go backdoor with the curveball, we'll see from the overhead cam, right on the corner, and Montero froze it and held it pretty good for Mike Everett to call. But to be able to pull that out of your back pocket after you've not thrown it all night long.
Smith has hit the ball hard twice, a double to left center to drive in a run, and a bullet of a single to right. Average at 304, Hamill at first, and it's 1-1. Brandon Allen, with the pitcher at first base, is playing about 10 feet behind him. Outfield is straight up. And another base hit. Hamill will stop at second base. Smith is 3 for 3 against Herron, and that will allow Todd Helton to hit here in the 5th.
And that was a broken bat single from Seth Smith. Out in front a little bit, hit it right off the end, strong enough to hit it to right field.
Ball 1 on Todd. A line drive to right. Ground into a double play his last time up. Still 2-2 in Milwaukee. The Giants and Brewers, they're in the 7th.
The next pitch will be number 100 for Herron.
Well, 3rd in the league in hitting. And that's line foul. Down the left field line, and a sliced foul. You have windshield damage, call Colorado's #1 team, Elite Safelite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000. Online at safelight.com.
We get the right man up there and held him. 349 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position.
And this is shallow left field, but coming on and making the play is Gerardo Parra. So the Rockies threaten, they do not score. We go to the 6th inning. It remains 3-2 Arizona. Hyundai and get a whole year's worth of gas for $1.49 per gallon. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Dex, take the sport out of finding local information with Dex in print and online at dexknows.com. Padres leading the Dodgers. That's good news. The Giants and Brewers, as I just told you, remain tied at 2. The Rockies have to take care of their own house. They trail 3-2 to Arizona as the Diamondbacks come up in the 6th inning with Gerardo Parra, Brandon Allen, and Chris Young. 6, 7, and 8 in their lineup. Parra tonight is 1 for 2. Allen had a 1-2-3 5th inning, his first 1-2-3 inning since the opening frame. And that's strike 1. There are 3 things in my mind that have really hurt Hamill tonight, because I think he's pitched pretty well.
I would agree with that.
3-0. It looked like he was pitching. I'll just go to the top 2 actually. 3-0. He's pitching around Miguel Montero with first base open. Looks like they're going to walk him to get to Reynolds, who's been slumping and has more holes than Montero. There's a base hit. And on a 3-0 pitch, after 3 pitches not really close, he grooved one with runners at second and third after a stolen base, and the single tied up the ball game at 2-2. And then, of course, the other spot wasn't really Hamill's fault, and now as he got out of the inning on a ground ball to Clint Barmas, and Clint threw high to Todd Helton, allowing a run to score. Well,
I also go back to that 3rd inning you were talking about, Montero, because there was a hit by pitch to Ryan Roberts when he had him 1-2. And that would have been the 2nd out of that inning. Well, then he struck out Justin Upton, so you wouldn't even got to Montero if you had not had the hit by pitch, and also gave up a base hit to the pitcher that inning too. I mean, so I'll throw those 2 things on top of the 2 that you threw out there.
Yep.
And that's the difference why they have 3 runs.
And now you have Parra, who can run a little bit at first base, and the Rockies have not held runners very well this year. They're tied with Arizona for 15th in the league in throwing would-be base stealers out.
Yeah, and Arizona has 94 stolen bases as a team, which is 2nd best in the National League, and pretty good percentage. It's 74% success ratio.
Parra not going, and this ball is hit high and deep down the right field line, turned foul. It's got home run distance. It is a foul ball.
I don't think there's any doubt about his power now. And even though that ball was foul, that was some pretty impressive pull power.
This ball game figures to be in the bullpens in the 7th inning. Herron's over 100 pitches right now. The next pitch for Hamill is 97. Hamill just needs to keep it a 1-run game. The Pens ultimately will probably tell the story on who wins this thing.
Yeah, they really will be. But if you can get Brandon Allen, get him to roll over on a ground ball.
Hamill hasn't completely junked the 2-seam fastball or the sinker, but he's throwing more 4-seam fastballs his last 4 or 5 starts.
Yeah, but the pitch that you can get that guy out in front's changeup, fading down and away from a left-handed hitter.
Now it's a fastball that's inside, 1-1. Very modest numbers for a young player, Brandon Allen.
Well, you can just tell the cat and mouse games that are going on right now with Parr over there and Tommy Runnels, the bench coach for the Rockies. Trying to make sure that they keep that guy at first base, at least looking alive over there. I understand that they might throw over. There's TR. He does all the selections here with runners on base, whether they're going to step off, do the fake move, slide steps.
And 3-1. You may see some action in the Rockies bullpen. Quest high-speed pitch. Aaron's hit 92, Hamill 94. It's brought to you by Quest High-Speed Internet.
Let's see if Arizona starts the runner.
Nope.
Nope.
Ball 4. Now you got an issue. 2 on, nobody out. Chris Young coming up. That body's starting to move down in the Rockies bullpen. This is where, after 5 good innings against the Giants, Jim Tracy had to go and get Jason Hamill in his last outing. I see guys milling around, but nobody's got enough to start throwing.
Hey, the next Dollar Hot Dog Night is September 8th, Tuesday, against the Cincinnati Reds. The first 10,000 fans through the gates will receive a coupon for a $1 hot dog, courtesy of Hebrew National. Purchase your tickets to this game at all the usual places. Look for Chris Young to maybe lay down a bunt. I'm really surprised they allowed him to swing.
Look, let me ask you, why would you lay down a bunt with the pitcher up next?
Because Dan Herron can hit a little bit.
Yeah.
That's why. If it was somebody else that couldn't handle the bat like a Dan Herron, then I'm all for it. The other thing is, this young man's hitting 187. It's not like he's hitting 300.
He's behind 0-2.
So now you got him in a perfect opportunity. You can elevate the high fastball, you can go upstairs, or you can throw the breaking pitch down and away from him to get the strikeout.
Here's the 0-2 on Young. And did he bite on the hook?
Good check.
Now the Rockies now have 2 up in their bullpen. It's Matt Daly and Randy Flores.
Throw that breaking pitch down and away again if you want.
Ground ball to third. See if they can turn 2. Young can run. Throw to first. Safe. Barmas got spilled by Allen. First and third, 1 out.
One hit all that hard to Ian Stewart. Comes up and kind of throws a ball that's sinking down and away just a little bit from Clint. And I tell you what, Brandon Allen got right on top of Clint Barmas, and just the speed from Chris Young from the Hyundai camp, see that he just beat that out by just a minute step there.
You got good speed at first and third. You have Herron at the plate. You got to worry about Young running. Rockies playing for 2 up the middle, trailing 3-2 in the 6th. Young not going, swung on and missed. Watching Herron take BP today. I mean, it's no fluke that he's hitting well over 200, that he has a home run this year and has driven in 8.
No, he has an idea of what he wants to do up there at the plate. Try a little third to first move.
They got him. Oh, man, he didn't throw it. I think in his mind he just said, I'm going to fake both ways. Don't you agree? Because he had him.
He had him, and it was the right call. There's third to first move. He had him now. If he turns around right now and makes the throw to Helton, a chance to get it.
Herron, when he was at Pepperdine, was an All-American. When he wasn't pitching, he was the DH.
And that goes back to my point of why I probably, if I was managing the Diamondbacks, would have bunted Chris Young.
In the air to left, pretty shallow. Parra can run. Smith is going to throw to second. And the run comes around. It's 4-2. So Dan Herron helps his own cause with his 9th RBI of the year. Stephen Drew will come up.
Look for Chris Young to run in either the first or second pitch. 11 stolen bases on the year, only been caught twice.
And he got the leadoff man up if he got thrown out. Hamill's thinking that way. He continues to hold the baseball.
And the other thing, too, is you have a left-handed hitter, and it really blocks the view of the catcher. So he has to rely on the first baseman or the second baseman to let him know that the runner is going.
Well, bad news here, 4-2. Bad news in Milwaukee. The Giants now have a 3-2 lead on the Brewers in the 8th inning. And the Rockies lead the wild card over the Giants by just a game. And it's popped up. Barmes waiting for it. Arizona adds a run. It is 4-2 as we go to the bottom of the 6th.
Back in the second inning off of Dan Herron. I mean, this is just perfect positioning of the bat. Eyes are traveling right down towards the barrel, right on that sweet spot right there that we talk about all the time. Just doesn't get any better than that. That's the Frost Brewed Coors Light freeze can.
Giants took that 3-2 lead on Benji Molina's 17th home run of the year, your old teammate. Here's Troy Tulowitzki. Rockies down 2 runs. Dan Herron with his 103rd pitch of the ball game. This is ball 1. Tulowitzki, a drive to straightaway center field, robbed by Chris Young in the first inning. And then he hit a ground ball to short. Hop on deck. And this ball on 2 hops to Reynolds. 1 out.
The first 15,000 fans through the gates on Saturday, September 5th, which is tomorrow, receive a knit hat courtesy of King Supers. You can get your tickets to this game against the Arizona Diamondbacks by calling 1-800-388-ROCK or online at ColoradoRockies.com.
I'll tell you what's important this inning, Huey. It's important they get the pitch count up on Herring, because if they go down 1, 2, 3 and say 7 or 8 pitches,
he's back out there.
He's going to be back out there in the 7th inning, and that's strike 2. It's 0-2.
Yeah, the most pitches he's thrown this year, and he's done it twice, is 117 pitches. In his last outing, he threw 107 against Houston. He went 7 innings.
Remember what we said early. Rocky's got a run in the first, chance for more. 2 great defensive plays in the outfield. One by Upton, one by Chris Young. Second inning, Stewart hit a home run. And all of a sudden, Herring got even in the ball game. Strike 3. That's the 3rd time Brad Hopp's gone down against Herring tonight. And Herring, being the great pitcher that he is, reached a rhythm and got himself in a groove, and now he's pitching with a 4-2 lead.
And with more confidence, too. And that's the thing. From the side, Brad thought maybe that ball was high, but that came right in at the belt level. But it is a case with a guy like Herring. If you can't get to him early, he's going to find that rhythm eventually. He's been out there for so many starts in his career. This is 183rd start at the big league level, so he understands what he's doing out there.
And this ball is lined to right by Ian Stewart. And you have a 2-out base hit in front of Yorvie Torrealba. By the way, that last strikeout for Herring, his 999th of his career. Let's take a look at our Geico quote of the day. Willie Stargell, the late superstar of the Pirates. I love September, especially when we're in it. Every baseball player does. Well, the Rockies are in it. They're up a game in the wild card. Trying to come from behind now against Arizona. That was the 7th hit for the Rockies. They've actually out-hit Arizona 7-5. 2 of the 7 hits owned by Jason Hamill.
Just 3 in the last 3 innings.
Next pitch is number 112. And Arizona has life in their bullpen right now. Their bullpen, by the way, see Spilborgh's with a bat. Hamill's 2 doors down. Their bullpen's been very good the last few weeks. A delayed strike call by Mike Everett. That did not please Yorvie Torrealba. That's Daniel Schlereth, Mark's son. Kid I watched throw snowballs down the street for me when he was 10 years old. Swung on and missed. So Torrealba strikeout number 8. That's 1,000 punch-outs in Herring's career. And he has gone 6 innings. And his club leads it 4-2. Don't forget to play. And by Bird Auto, to find great deals on used cars, visit ColoradoWheelsOnline.com or pick up a magazine at over 200 locations. Rockies trailing 4-2. As we have moved on to the top of the 7th inning with Jeff Hewson and Alana Rizzo, I'm Drew Goodman. Matt Daly has taken over for Jason Hamill, who went the first 6. This call to the pen is brought to you by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 800 Comcast. So Daly will see Ryan Roberts, Justin Upton, Miguel Montero. That's 2, 3, and 4 in Arizona's lineup. The Diamondbacks have won 6 of 8. The Rockies, coming into tonight, have lost 6 of 8. They got off to the fast start tonight. They led 2-0 against Dan Herron, and all looked very well for the Rockies. But things turned around. A 2-run third for Arizona, a run in the 4th, and now a run in the 6th. And this is playable. Hop coming on, and Brad comes under control and makes a catch.
A right play from Brad to come get that before Clint Barmas could get it. Easier play for the outfielder.
There are only 4 days left for the Rocky Mountain Raffle 4th early prize drawing. Entry deadline is Monday, the 7th of September. That's this coming Monday. Go to RockyMountainHomeRaffle.com and sign up for your chance to win $10,000. It benefits the Boys and Girls Clubs of Metro Denver. Justin Upton 0 for 3. He takes a strike.
Well, it's going to be up to Matt now to just keep this ball game right where it's at. Give that offense a chance and see if Dan Herron comes out next inning. I think he might have done it for him that last inning.
You know what? I think with the base hit by Stewart, having to throw 3 or 4 more pitches, that probably, and we're guessing, eliminated the thought for A.J. Hinch of sending him back out. You know, and part of the equation for Arizona and A.J. Hinch is that, you know, yeah, you're going to compete your butt off the rest of the way. But Arizona's 13 games under 500. They're not going anywhere this year. Herron's already on the plus side. What reason is Upton goes down again? What reason would you have Dan Herron in September in a non-playoff chase throw 125 pitches?
Yeah, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense for him to even think about doing that. And the other thing is, too, I mean, you look at it, he's climbed over 190 innings pitched for the year. Yeah, here's a horse, a guy that's going to go out there and throw well over 200 innings per year. But you're right, in a situation like this where the Diamondbacks are as far back, they're 13 games under 500, it just doesn't make any sense to rush him back out there for another one.
1-0 on Miguel Montero. This guy always scares me.
He does, because he's just so strong.
2-0. Vasquez and Schlereth throwing in the Arizona bullpen.
Well, you look at it, and Vasquez, to me, it would be the guy to at least start the inning for the Diamondbacks, and then after that you have Schlereth for all the lefties at the top of the lineup, and Gonzalez, Smith, and Helton.
It's fouled off. 2-1. It didn't look like a 2-0 swing. That was more of a defensive 2-strike type of swing.
His arm's still hurting him from where he took that foul ball off earlier in the ball game.
That's fouled off. Well, Doug just handed me a note. Doug's on top of everything, and this may be the most pertinent information we pass along all night. Florida wins 9-6 over Washington. That officially eliminates the Nationals from postseason contention.
Really?
Thanks, Doug.
First team out.
Shocking.
Could have said that back in April.
Yeah, shocking development.
But officially, I mean, officially.
2-2, 3-2. I'm sure the Washington Post will have a 6-column headline tomorrow with the same information.
Or already looking forward to Strasburg's first start next year.
You're right. Ball 4. So Montero reaches. And that'll bring up Mark Reynolds. Tonight's Speed of the Game brought to you by Verizon Wireless. Montero, looking at the baseball off the bat, thought he may have gotten it all. He did not, as Carlos Gonzalez, with the great speed in center field, ran it down and then kissed the wall. So our Speed of the Game brought to you by Verizon Wireless. Montero at first, and Reynolds at the plate.
That was a bad swing.
He goes through periods where, like a lot of sluggers, he doesn't look real good at the plate, and then he'll go for a 2-week period and look out, playing pepper with the seats on a nightly basis. You see sluggers like Albert Pujols, who, by the way, hit another home run tonight, leading the league with 43 home runs. And Albert, from the time he arrived in the big league, stout, barrel-chested, big, strong arms. You know, Prince Fielder, may carry a little extra weight, but he's big and broad, very, very strong. He hits a ton of home runs. Mark Reynolds, I'm not saying he's not a big guy, but he's more wiry strong.
Yeah, he doesn't have that, but what he does have is some quick wrist. I mean, that barrel gets through there pretty quick because of the forearms and the way he uses those hips. It's not just a powerful upper body type of swings or the true trunks of legs like you said of an Albert Pujols. But somehow he gets that bat through there, and this is somehow is because of the wrist.
He set up away. And the fastball strikes out Reynolds. 2 strikeouts for Daly in the inning. Montero left at first. Stretch time at Coors Field. Rockies need some offense. They're down by a couple of runs.
A limited time offer, so you need to act now. Call 303 Rockies or go online to ColoradoRockies.com and make a 2010 season ticket deposit today.
Pitching change. It'll be Esmerling Vasquez in the 7th inning. Clint Barmas will lead it off. Eric Young Jr. for the time being, is in the on-deck circle.
Vasquez, a live fastball, and then 94 to 99 miles an hour.
And this ball down the left field line, and it is dropping in foul ground. Now, the interesting thing about Vasquez is that righties have hit 295 against them, lefties just 169.
That is surprising for a guy that throws as hard as he does. That just tells you that his out pitch really is the changeup that works down and away from the left-handed hitters. He doesn't have the confidence, and then his other pitch is just a spinning breaking pitch up there.
Off the end of the bat, it's a 2-strike count on Barmes. He will throw his changeup more than 20% of the time.
Well, and that's where he really turns it over too. But here they're going to try to elevate the fastball to Clint.
Yeah, that cruised over at 95 miles an hour, 1-2. Rockies have seen Vasquez a couple times this year. He has 2 scoreless innings against them. That is a fair ball and a nice play by Reynolds.
We've seen him make a couple plays tonight. We've seen it really with Reynolds as a guy that he'll make the unbelievable play. And this is a pretty good play because you're not sure where the bag is when you go. And then by the time you throw, you're about 2 steps into foul territory. You got a quick guy in Clint Barmes that can run. Watch where he lets go of this ball. All the leg work and pushing off the right leg allowed him to get the ball to first base like that.
Now, I'll tell you what, nice stretch by Brandon Allen at first.
Well, he is pretty good around the bag. He's a big kid, but surprisingly very agile over there with his footwork.
Yep. Well, as you described, Reynolds got a ton on that throw. Reynolds will shorten up right now at third base with Young at the plate. EY pinch hit yesterday. He was 0 for 1. And he takes low, ball 1. Five singles since being called to the big leagues for Eric Young Jr. Outside 2-0. Carlos Gonzalez on deck. Rockies 2 runs, 7 hits, and an error. It was a costly one. The Diamondbacks 4 runs, 5 hits, no errors. 3 balls, no strikes.
Even on that last pitch, 2-0, Eli was taken the whole way. I mean, he's a leadoff type of guy. He understands what his role is right now, just to get on base.
And that's low, ball 4. So he succeeds. He goes to first. That'll bring up the tying run in Carlos Gonzalez. And here, well, Gonzalez isn't moving. He's assuming the left-hander is going to come in with Gonzalez, Smith, and Helton do up 3-0. 3 in a row, I should say. Gonzalez was waiting. No move yet by A.J. Hinch.
Just looking down there.
He may be looking at this also. He's had Schlereth up for a while. He may be looking at it saying, well, look, lefties haven't hit him very well.
And go back to that point you made about under 200 for lefties.
And this off the end of the bat, it's going to drop.
Well, now I think we'll see the lefty. Even though that ball wasn't hit that hard off the bat at Gonzalez, right off the end, really come right into the meat of the lineup. And instead, it's going to be Mel Stottlemyre Jr., the pitching coach, is going to go out there. He's out there on a jog. And he's not the guy that makes the changes, so this is just a conference. Boyer, their other 8th inning guy. along with Vasquez. I mean, they're the 7th, 8th inning guys.
You know, and maybe right now there's the trust factor for A.J. Hinch with his lefties. Daniel Schler is the #1 pick, who has a great arm, but he's still a puppy in terms of big league experience. And lefties are 4 for 13 against him. Plays Zavada, who had early success, but that declined over a period. Lefties hitting .288 against Zavada. They're 2 left-handers down there.
Right, and that's where Zavada is better against, actually better against right-handed hitters as a left-handed reliever. So maybe he just said, you know what, I'm going to set my trust in Vasquez to get out of this.
Well, here's Smith, right man at the right time of night. He takes strike 1. Seth has had a perfect evening. An RBI double in the first, a single in the third, a single in the fifth. 7th inning or later, it is his time. .337 average, 6 home runs, 22 RBIs. It is the bottom of the 7th.
And the good thing, too, is you got great speed out on the bases. And obviously, if a ball is hit, E.Y. Jr. is going to score. But if there's a ball in the gap with Gonzalez, the way he runs, you can easily tie the ball game up.
Big swing and a miss from Smith. It's 1-2.
And that was that changeup we were talking about earlier, Drew. The way the ball just runs away from a left-handed hitter. Vasquez really falls hard off to the first base side and runs away from his arm, but the arm stays behind, and then the ball fades away from the lefties.
This ball is tagged to deep center field. Young is not going to catch this one. Gonzalez right behind. Eric Young, he'll score easily. Once again, Seth Smith comes through. Ball game tied at 4. How about that, Seth Smith? Unbelievable how clutch he is.
He's just money. Money player, 2nd double tonight, 4th hit of the ball game, 14th double overall. And he really learned from that swing before that, you know what, I got to try to stay on the ball a little bit better. And this ball was left up instead of sinking down away. The Hyundai cam, I mean, that's just easy hitting for a hitter. When you know that ball's up, you just drive it to where it came from. And with the speed on the bases, as I mentioned, 2 easy runs.
Vasquez is gone. Rockies have tied it up. Go ahead run at second for Todd Helton when we come back. None bigger than the last one, a 2-run double to erase the Rockies' 2-run deficit. And now A.J. Hinch calls on Daniel Schlereth, who is a native Colorado, who grew up Just 20 minutes from the ballpark with the Highlands Ranch High School. And finished up at the University of Arizona, their #1 pick a year ago. But he didn't bring him in against the first lefty, Gonzalez, or even the second, Smith. Now, hey, go get the future Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I just don't understand what A.J. Hinch was thinking there. If you're going to bring the lefty in, then let him face somebody else besides your first hitter going to be help. I mean, let him go after Gonzalez. Let him go after Smith. I mean, I'm glad for the Rockies if that's the case, but why do you have him warming up there then?
One out, Smith at second. And the slider misses. It's 2-0. You know, he's a young pitcher at the big league level. And I agree with you. Give him an opportunity to have a little success. And you know the nerves for Daniel are that much more than they'd ordinarily be. I mean, not only is he new to the big leagues, but he's pitching in front of mom. Dad's going to be here tomorrow. A ton of friends and family.
Yeah. Former high school teammates, all that. All those people that come to watch you.
And he's facing a guy he watched throughout his childhood. Sure. 3-0 on help. Ball 4. And now you have Tulowitzki with 2 aboard. Tulo is 0 for 3 tonight.
And after a 4-pitch walk to the hitter before you, you really got to shrink that strike zone a little bit. He's got to be thinking the same thing that we're thinking up here. Young man out on the hill, not very much experience.
Well, he's got 9 walks now in 9 innings pitched in the big leagues.
So if you're Troy, you're in the driver's seat right now. Okay, just shrink the zone right into that area right there. That's where you're looking for the baseball.
Well, for Schlereth, there's no question, once he gets some experience under his belt, he is going to be a very good big league reliever. He's got too good an arm not to be. But these are difficult situations.
Well, they are for anybody. To come into a situation like this, and ball game's tied now, 4-4. You're facing a guy, and you just faced a guy in Helton. Now you got Tulo. But that's the difference. But think about that. This guy didn't pitch much last year either.
He battled an injury earlier this summer. He had a rib cage contusion. His numbers in Double-A were off the charts. He had an ERA literally of 1.01 to be precise. He's got a phenomenal arm. 1-0. And there's a strike.
But I like that from Troy. Go ahead, make him. He's throwing 5 straight balls. Okay, let's see if he can throw a strike instead of me going up there and looking and saying, okay, I'm gonna fire at this pitch, because right now you're still in the driver's seat.
One on Tulowitzki. And that was a very good slider. It's 1-2.
To go from 94 miles an hour on the fastball on the previous pitch to 79 miles an hour on the hard slider. A lot of times you're looking for that 10 to 12 mile an hour differential instead of 14 like Schlereth just threw.
That is rolled to third and bobbled by Reynolds. Everybody's safe. Everybody's safe, and Brad Hopp will come up.
Well, Tulo got the swinging bunt, a lot like Jason Hamill, right out in front, and Reynolds comes in and charges hard, and it was going to be a tough play whether he makes it or not. I'm surprised he tried to go with 2 hands, though. Kind of got tied up a little bit instead of getting circled out a little bit more and coming just and setting the ball in your glove with just 1 hand.
Brad Hobbs had a tough night. 0 for 3, 3 strikeouts. Chance to change all that here. And that first pitch misses, ball 1. So after the error by Reynolds, the base is loaded. The go-ahead run is at third base and Smith. Helton's at second, Tulowitzki at first. Swung on and missed on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. It's 1-1.
Hop this year 3 for 13 with the bases loaded. Really think about if you're Brad Hopp, thinking of that off-field gap, trying to hit it into left center field.
2 balls and a strike. One of the things you know about Brad Hopp, he will make you throw a strike, even though he does a lot of damage. Big RBI guy, big home run guy. He makes you throw strikes. Hitting .307 this year with runners in scoring position. 2-1.
That's the one he would like to have back, that last pitch. Because now that hard slider comes back into play with the 2-2 count.
And Schlereth strikes out Hopp up and in on a pitch out of the strike zone. It'll be left to Ian Stewart.
They just kept climbing the ladder, and Brad fouled that one pitch off right before that, and then they went right back upstairs again. And Schlereth just overpowered it.
Ian Stewart's had a nice night. Home run, a strikeout in the 4th, and then a single to right in the 6th. A single here would look pretty. And he takes a strike. A year ago, Stewart left on left was outstanding. This year, he has struggled, hitting below 200.
Well, one thing you have to look at, if you're Seth Smith over at third base too, Montero's not the best at blocking balls behind the plate. So be ready for a ball that kicks away from him just a little bit. And where Reynolds is about 17 feet away from third base. So as a base runner, you can get off that far before you even start to take your secondary leap.
Here's the 1-1. And a ground ball fair. And Allen will run to the bag. The Rockies leave the bases loaded. They had them loaded with 1 out. So Schlereth works out of the jam, handed him. It's 4-4. The Rockies have tied it up. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. The Rockies get even with the 2-run double off the bat of Seth Smith, who has a career-best 4 hits tonight. And now with a tie ball game in the top of the 8th inning, at least initially, it will not be Rafael Betancourt. It will be Randy Flores to face Gerardo Parra. And this call to the pen brought to you by Comcast. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 800 Comcast. So Flores making his 2nd appearance since being recalled to the big leagues.
Well, yeah, you have 2 lefties in back-to-back, Parra and Allen. And so that's the thought process for Jim Tracy.
Flores down in Colorado Springs. The reports where he really got his velocity back from more than a year ago. He was with the Cardinal organization. He's battled some injuries.
Well,
the Rockies have the luxury, and the reasons Jim Tracy can do this, he has 3 lefties. Now, one of his lefties is now the closer, Franklin Morales, with the bicep tendonitis that Houston Street is battling.
And that's what's nice when you have that extra lefty out there in the bullpen is Randy Flores. He'd come in and get these 2 left-handed hitters out and see what A.J. Hinch does. I'm sure he'll go to his right-handed guy like a Hester or Raul, and then you can go and get Betancourt.
Pretty good hard breaking ball there. Not offered at by Parra, and just a smidgen low. So it's 2-2. 4-4 ball game. The Rockies have out-hit Arizona 10-5. See ya. Let's check in with Alana Rizzo. Good pitch by Flores.
All right, Drew, thanks very much. You already talked about the biceps tendonitis for Houston Street. I asked him earlier today how frustrating this particular injury is for him. He's had several injuries in his pretty short but successful major league career. He said this has been the most frustrating one because in 2006 he had a late season groin injury. The Athletics were still somewhat in the hunt. 2007, 2008, they were completely out of it. So at that point, when you have that much time left but you know you're not in the postseason, you're just trying to get healthy. He said it's so frustrating not being able to help my team and not being able to contribute with this injury when we're right in the thick of a pennant race. He said, thankfully, we have the pieces, specifically talking about Franklin Morales, that can come in and close until Houston is available to pitch again. He goes, but my sanity lives and dies based on how this team is performing. If we win, I'm great. If we lose, it drives me crazy because I know there's nothing I can do until I get better to help my team. Guys?
Well, he's normally one of the most approachable guys in the Rockies clubhouse, and also very talkative, and he's been very quiet the last couple of days, understandably so, as Gonzalez at the last instant calls off Seth Smith. So Brandon Allen is gone.
But you could also throw Aaron Cook into that. I mean, Aaron's very competitive, and he's not the opportunity right now. And then you look at a Jeff Francis, same thing, Dexter Fowl. All those guys right now that are not able to play. It is very, very frustrating when you're in the pennant race.
It's got to be absolutely agonizing. Cannot even relate to it. So Flores does his job. He gets the 2 lefties. Chris Young due up, and Rafael Betancourt will come aboard when we return to Coors Field. 4-4 ball game. Park 3-2, so they're within a half game of the wild card chase. You've heard me talking about College Invest and their 529 college savings plans, but everybody wonders where they find the extra money to save for their kids. Well, think about this. When your toddler, when your little one moves from full-time daycare perhaps to kindergarten or preschool to kindergarten, take the money you were spending on daycare or your preschool and put it into a 529 college savings plan for them. You're already used to budgeting the money, and by opening a savings account, you're still spending it on their future welfare. Get started saving for college today by visiting collegeinvest.org. Checking out the price of college today. I have several years to go. You have one in college, one going to college soon, one a few years away. It ain't cheap. Call College Invest. Chris Young at the plate against Rafael Betancourt. Slider misses, ball one. Betancourt has held right-handed hitters to a .207 batting average. Flores, terrific job getting the first two. And a good slider, and it's 1-1 on Chris Young, who's 1 for 3 in the ball game.
Flores did everything that Jim Tracy wanted to do. Come get the two left-handers out. Now I can go to my 8th inning guy in a ball game that's tied right now to give my offense a chance to win it in the bottom half to bring my closer in the 9th.
And you know what? I wouldn't throw one straight right now to Chris Young because he's in a difficult spot right now, confidence-wise at the plate.
Well, the base hit he got back in the 4th inning was on a fastball that missed this location, but he has not seen any sort of breaking pitch where he's picked up the spin or recognized it at all. Throw him another hard slider down and away, and then go ahead and go to the dugout.
And you see Torrealba setting up there. It was a fastball, bounced up the middle. Barnes circling, nice play by Clint. And he gets Chris Young. He got a good jump on that baseball up the middle. So a 1-2-3 inning for Flores and Betancourt. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th, tied at 4. Fourth early prize drawing. Entry deadline's Monday. Go to RockyMountainHomeRaffle.com. Sign up for your chance to win $10,000. It helps out the Boys and Girls Clubs of Metro Denver. Great cause. Yorvi Torrealba is going to lead it off for the Rockies in a 4-4 ball game. A double switch has taken place. That's Alex Romero now in center field. Chris Young, who made the final out, is out of the ball game. Romero will lead off next inning, and Blaine Boyer will pitch the bottom of the 8th, at least initially. The scheduled hitters, Torrealba, Barmes, and then the pitcher spot. And that's where you may see Jason Giambi.
Boyer acquired from by St. Louis from Atlanta for Brian Barton, then ended up coming over here to Arizona. But the last 14 ball games only allowed 2 earned runs. The ERA just right at around 1. Fastball, curveball, slider type pitcher.
And he's got the first pitch over. Torrealba, deep drive to center, ground ball to third and a strikeout. He's got a 12-game hitting streak going.
Pretty effortless on that last pitch from Boyer to get it up there, 95 miles an hour.
And a line drive, base hit for Torrealba. He's got a 13-game hitting streak, but even more importantly, he is the potential go-ahead run at first base here in the bottom of the 8th. Barmes at the plate. Let's see how the Rockies choose to play it.
No, you have to bunt him here. You got to get him out to second base into scoring position.
Good bunt by Barmes. And Allen applies the tag. So Clint gets down the bunt. And now Yorvit Torrealba is at second base.
And now Giambi is coming to the on-deck circle. I like that. He goes up there and takes his first 2 practice swings right-handed.
Yeah.
How about
you know
that?
What would be more shocking is if he went up to the plate right-handed. I don't think that's going to happen.
But it's not going to matter because he's just going to go up there and stand for 4 pitches because A.J. Hinch is going to intentionally walk him.
And you know what? That's okay.
It is.
Because from Jim Tracy's standpoint, you then get Carlos Gonzalez at the plate, a very difficult man to double up. And a guy who's been swinging a great bat. Would you pinch run for Torrealba?
Yes.
Well, they're not standing up right now. The first pitch is down low. Let's see if this is one of those unintentional, intentional walks with Giambi at the plate. Giambi came through in a huge way in his first pinch hitting at bat when he was allowed to swing. He forced in a run, actually his first plate appearance with a walk. And then on the first pitch he saw a couple of days ago, he lined a 2-run single. That's in there, 2-1.
Well, really playing that shift we talked about earlier, Drew, for Giambi, where Stephen Drew is over on the second base side. And look how deep Ryan Roberts is, playing about 17, 18 feet behind the cut of the grass.
Long drive, left center field. That'll get the go-ahead run home. Jason Giambi does it again.
Thank you, A.J. Hinch.
Thank you, A.J. Hinch. I don't understand, honestly, why with first base open you would pitch to a guy with 408 career home runs and the resume that Giambi presents.
And you also set up the possibility of a double play, but here they leave a fastball up. Giambi hits it right where they weren't playing. I mean, if you're going to play a guy at a pole, you're not going to pitch him away. Giambi hits the ball over there, and now you're up 5-4.
All I know, he's had 3 plate appearances in a Rockies uniform. He's got 4 RBIs, and the last 3 RBIs are absolutely enormous. Jason Giambi has given the Rockies a 5-4 8th inning lead. They were down 4-2 about 20 minutes ago. Gonzalez lays down a bunt. Go to first, safe there. Now 2 aboard for Seth Smith.
Well, I like the thought process from Gonzalez. D-backs are rattled a little bit. Things have not gone your way. Lay the bunt down. Montero comes out and makes a strong throw. Brandon Allen wasn't on the bag. He was kind of looking for the bag. Where is it?
So a bunt single. Spilborghs, who's running for Giambi, is at second base. Smith, a double, a single, a two-run double last inning to tie it. And now he can give the Rockies some breathing room. There's not much breathing room between the Giants, who are on the Rockies' heels right now.
And you know the guys
half game out after winning earlier tonight.
The guys in the dugout have already seen that too. They've been keeping an eye on those, on the scoreboard out there, and they understand now with San Francisco with this updated standings here that they've climbed to within a half game. And with that big hit from Giambi, it closes this out and put them up by a game.
You can tell from the moment he arrived at the clubhouse legitimately how excited he was to step into a pennant race. How quickly he's been accepted. You're accepted that much more. And he even said you feel, now that you contribute, you feel, a big part of things. If he doesn't get another hit the rest of September and he contributes to 2 wins, it's job well done by Rockies management signing him.
Exactly. If he would have only won 1 game, it would be worth it.
Yep. Did that get him or hit the bat?
Foul ball.
Must have hit the bat. So that's not. Yeah.
Yep.
You know what? That was an odd one. That almost hit the bat and then him.
But since he swung at it, it would have been a foul ball. That was a strange swing. To get back to Giambi for a second, though, I mean, this guy's played New York. He understands pressure situations. I mean, this is nothing new, but still, no matter how many games you play, you still want to be accepted by your teammates. And he's come in, and right away, I mean, he's just fit like a glove.
Absolutely. And Smith goes down for the first time tonight. 2 outs, and that'll bring up number 17. Rockies 5, Diamondbacks 4. Franklin Morales getting ready in the Rockies bullpen. 9-1-2 in the lineup for Arizona. The 9-hole will be Alex Romero. Hilton takes a strike. Todd 0 for 3 and a walk.
And a good thing too for Franklin Morales, if you look at it, if they still leave Romero in there to lead off next inning, Franklin has 2 lefties to start because you have Romero and then Stephen Drew, another left-hander at the top of the lineup. There's Franklin. He's all ready to go. He's loose.
And you're not going to pinch hit for Drew. You already put Romero in the ball game just a moment ago. You were thinking ahead to the 9th inning. They really don't have many right-handed options.
No,
Hester and Ryle are kids.
Right. So far, what we've seen from...
Ball hit hard, but it's picked up by Ryan Roberts. That ends the inning. But Jason Giambi with a clutch single to drive in the Rockies' 5th run will go to the 9th, 5-4 Colorado. the Diamondbacks in the 7th. Jason Giambi has put them ahead 5-4 as we turn the page to the 9th. Let's check in with Tom Helmer. Tom?
Well, Drew, coming up after the ball game, we'll get you into the clubhouse. We'll talk about Seth of Fresh Air. What an outstanding night offensively for Seth Smith. And pinch me. We'll talk about Jason Giambi, not only the hit he got, but the decision to even pitch to him in the first place. It's all coming up right after the game. Drew?
Sounds like a plan, and the plan right now, as Jason Giambi looks on, is for Franklin Morales to get the last 3 outs. Again, with Houston Street down, it will be Franklin Morales as the closer. Morales got his first taste of closing a couple of days ago against the Mets with success. He certainly has the stuff.
Boy, he does, with the 95 to 97 mile an hour fastball, the hard slider. He's just going to challenge the hitters. And Rusty Ryle is going to come up and pinch hit for Alex Romero, the lefty. Ryle 3 for 6 on the year as a pinch hitter, but just a limited number of games, 17 games, just 33 at bats at the big league level.
He was an 05 14th round selection out of Oklahoma State. So Rusty Ryle pinch hitting for Romero. Stephen Drew on deck, and the first pitch is right in there at 95. This is fouled off. It's 0-2. When the Rockies score 7 or more runs during any ball game, go to your participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6. Feed your fever with 4 tacos for $1. Morales way ahead, 0-2. They want the fastball up. It's way up.
It's still 96 miles an hour. And now you have your choice. If you want to come back inside again, you can throw the hard slider, which we've seen him throw it and bury it towards that back foot. And that's exactly what they're going to try to do.
Good changeup. 2-2.
Well, that's one of the rare times we've seen him throw a changeup. Now that he's gone to the relieving role. We saw it when he was a starter, where he's a 3-pitch pitcher. Now it's predominantly hard fastball, hard slider.
He's got it on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. I don't know if we've seen that number yet with him.
We haven't. We've seen 97. We've seen 96 a few times, not 98. Talk about being amped up and really relishing this roll. The Hyundai Cam, just straight four-seam fastball, and Ryle stood no chance trying to catch up to that baseball.
So Ryle is gone, and here is Stephen Drew. 0 for 4 in the ball game. He reached in the 4th inning on an error by Clint Barnes, and he pops the first pitch up to center field. Gonzalez waiting for the second out. Crowd standing now, more than 31,000 on a Friday night. The Rockies staying one game, trying to stay one game in front of the Giants, who won 3-2 at Miller Park earlier this evening. Ryan Roberts will come up.
All those guys in San Francisco are still in the locker room in Milwaukee watching the end of this ball game.
It is a beautiful time of year. Ball cuts inside. Ball 1 on Roberts. He was hit by a pitch in the 3rd, scored a run. Otherwise, he's 0 for 3. He's got some pop in his bat, a versatile defender. Second base tonight, he also catches. It's in there, 1-1.
You don't want this guy getting on with Justin Upton hitting behind him.
Nope, you don't want any part of Upton until tomorrow night.
That's right. You don't want to see him coming to the plate. Get this guy.
2-1.
Just keep the ball away or come way inside on Roberts. Time up.
Not too far inside. It's 3-1. You know what, on that last pitch, this whole at bat, I subscribe to Jim Tracy's theory. You know what, 96, 97, 98, it's tough to hit.
It is.
And Ryan Roberts, with all due respect, he's not Justin Upton.
Just set up.
Let's be too fine. And he lost him. And now he'll have to deal with Upton. Bob Apodaca will walk out. Again, this is foreign territory for Morales. He's a gritty kid. He loves to compete. But the ninth inning is a place he's been only one other time, and that was 48 hours ago, and he had success.
And it's a different animal. How many times have we seen it where a guy's been in the 8th inning role and they try to convert him to a closer, and it's more difficult. Those last 3 outs you talk about, it's tough to get. And that was just more of a message from Bob Apodaca saying, okay, settle down just a little bit, no worries, but you have to make your pitches to Upton.
And Upton, though he's had a very tough night, 0 for 4, 3 punch-outs. In his career, is 3 for 8 against Morales with a home run. And in this league, you do not hit .311 by accident. Not playing every day. Now, what's that about? Because Roberts had a half a step lead. He's not going to make the final out.
No, and that's why your focus right now should be on Justin Upton. Don't even worry about that guy over at first base. He's not going anywhere.
Dropped off the plate, foul. Unfortunately, because that would have been an easy play if it stayed fair for Torrealba. 2 outs, 5-4 Rockies, top of 9. By the way, 7th inning in Los Angeles. It remains 2-0 San Diego. .7-mile-an-hour fastball is wide, 1-1. Every manager has his way of working the nerves out of the system, or attempting to. Jim Tracy's a pacer. Big cut by Upton. He was on that. He knows it. 1-2.
And all he was trying to do is hit the 2-run home run.
That's all.
That was all he was trying to do. There was nothing other than, you can just see how off balance he was right at the end. But he's looking to pull the baseball.
1-2. Hard-breaking ball, change up for the heater. How do you go?
I go either a hard fastball away. We're going inside with the fastball. Well, that's some guts there, because if you miss on that inner third part of the plate, I wouldn't throw the changeup. Because if he's strong enough that if he just misses it a little bit but still catches it out in front, he can pull it right down the line. If I throw the hard slide, I'm going to bury it towards that back foot or try to work the fastball down and away to him. Something away. If he's going to beat me, he's going to have to try to hit it into the opposite gap.
He is a free swinger. Here's the 1-2. Popped him up. Middle of the infield. Tulowitzki waving his arms. And the Rockies win it 5-4. Jason Giambi, the go-ahead RBI in the bottom of the 8th. Morales 2 for 2, filling in for Houston Street. And the Rockies remain a game.